My sister committed suicide at the age of 22. She was battling mental health problems, bipolar disease, and borderline personality disorder, and struggling for many years in silence. It's been just 1 year ago, and it's actually been the most difficult, hardest experience that I had to endure, because eventually people do commit suicide, but I am on the other side of a family member who has witnessed that. You cannot but not to feel that you are somehow responsible, because you were not there for them in the most difficult time, because if she felt so lonely and
Today's guest is Roxy Hops, transformation coach and the founder of the Phoenix Protocol, a powerful healing method born from her own journey through grief and trauma. After losing her sister and facing personal heartbreak, Roxy turned her pain into purpose. Now she helps others rise from life's lowest points using tools grounded in neuroscience, mindfulness, and emotional resilience. Roxy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for the introduction. It's a very nice. I know how I usually present myself, but to hear when somebody else presents you is a very humble experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Roxy. Thanks for coming. Uh, it's just an honor to record this podcast with you. How have you been?
Been great. Excited to change the world through my story, through my tools, through my contributions.
Wonderful, Roxy. So could you tell us more about your story? What is your story?
So I actually have a pretty extensive. I'm actually originally from Russia, but I left my country quite early. But got into all the hustle of getting education and traveling the world and having this kind of a dream life, I guess, or traditional successful life. But then in the last few years, my life turned completely turned, and I have faced a series of profound losses, including a devastating divorce, and then after that, the impact of Russian-Ukrainian war on my family, my sisters and brothers, all disturbed in different sides of the world. And then last year, also my sister committed suicide at the age of 22. She was battling mental health problems, bipolar disease, and borderline personality disorder, and struggling for many years in silence and not feeling understood and seen and heard. And eventually, because I faced so many deep losses and traumas, I at some point was thinking, why destiny, throws everything at me, like one thing after another. And it just made me to really shift my career. I quit my job and I said, I'm going to start help healing the world, because I went through so much trauma and suffering and pain myself. And one thing after another, that I just really thought that there must be a deeper meaning. And eventually I started coaching people. I started helping people, got involved in community to help with mental health initiatives, to help heal people. And now I'm excited, happy to share that I am involved in multiple ventures, from coaching to people to overcome trauma and adversity and rise back stronger and more resilient, to doing mental health initiative for children and teenagers. This year, I'm launching a mental health center for children and teenagers with agenda to equip them with the tools of emotional intelligence, resilience, coping skills, because eventually life is hard and it will break you. And if you're not mentally, emotionally prepared, it will be hard. And I want to destigmatize also struggles and depression and battles that everybody is fighting, because everybody is going through something at any given point. And I think that I had to go through all this pain and suffering to really be the vessel of healing and transformation for people right now.
Exactly, Roxy, you're right. We all are suffering or going through from any kind of thing, you know, bad in our life, because we all go through from it, because it's life. And but somebody gave an wonderful example of life, that representing a heart machine, which represents your heart, you know, that your heart is working, and it is in curved lines, like this, not straight. And they said, when it goes like straight line in that machine, it means that he is died, the person is died. So this is same in our life. When the line goes straight, it means this is not life. But when you have curvings, curves, and some struggles in your life, then you are actually living your life. So, Roxy, you unfortunately lost your sister when she was at the age of 22. So, how that incident affected you in your own life?
Oh, I'm still grieving. It's been very recently. It's been just 1 year ago. And it's actually been the most difficult, hardest experience that I had to endure, because eventually people do commit suicide, but I am on the other side of a family member who has witnessed that. And I, my personal journey is that I do understand a lot of people who um, continue living with certain type of grief and guilt, because when your family member, your close loved one, kills themselves, you cannot but not to feel that you are somehow responsible, because you were not there for them in the most difficult time. Because if she felt so lonely and not understood that she did that, um, we as a family do have that feeling that we have to work through. And it has impacted my family, obviously, and me personally. Even though I want to, still, because I'm working in this field, I want to really encourage people to understand that the decision to take someone's life is their own responsibility, and no one is responsible for that except them. And this is something that people do in therapy, and they go through that trauma to really understand that that was their decision. But of course, one thing is rationally understand that, another thing is emotionally feeling the guilt of not being there for a person. And it has been quite a journey. I do say that even though, despite all the trauma that has been the biggest hit, uh, the death of my sister, and that's kind of something that would finally made me, one trauma after another, made me say that's enough. That must be a meaning behind that. And that was a catalyst for growth. That was a catalyst for turning pain into purpose, for me to be now on a mission to help others, to save teenagers, because I guess I don't want also her death to be in vain. I want her, she was trying to reach out to say, it's real, mental health is problems are real. Depression is real among young children. And I know that now more and more the teenagers are growing up in this environment of internet, comparison, and this is a big thing, because I'm from a generation, we still grew up without internet, but now kids grow up with that and comparison, and they are not like there is no digital media literacy program to explain that it's all fake on the internet. And but young minds, young hearts are not equipped as much, and that's why I made my mission to really open up the conversation and do these kind of programs worldwide, to help destigmatize these problems, to say, for example, your school, there are some people and your classmates that are going through something and they don't share it. but they are going through something. And also there is a big topic of bullying, of cyberbullying, and it's all affects. And I think I want to encourage people to know that their decisions, their words, they affect other people. And my sister was a victim of this, right? She was under that kind of speech and words and behavior of people who didn't know that it can affect another person, that they can take their own life. And that's why I want people to wake up in the
Exactly, Roxy, and many condolences from my whole academy, from my side. It really was a very unfortunate incident which shouldn't happen, we could say, but may God, bless you, bless them all. Uh, so Roxy,
Do
you're
you
sorry.
maybe share about your community? How is like mental health problems, depression? Is that something that people talk about? How are Do you know about those social things that are happening in your community?
Um, in our side, we just share about all things with our God, or sometimes there are some Sufis, some that kind of thing where we go and share all these things. I'm not very into it, and I don't very know about uh when people suffer from mental health or something like that, whom they share their own things with. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. But in your schools, for example, like it's not really a topic. They don't like help. Like there are psychologists.
uh this is not very often here. Children doesn't suffer from such kind of thing, or they share with their parents only. Then their parents take them to the right place, for healing, and then it happens. So like they are not uh professional or something like that. Some institutes, they're not officially, but whenever something bad happened with any kind of any children, they just share with their parents, and the parents decide what they have to do with that thing. So Roxy, in your view, what societal factors contribute to the struggles individuals face during major life transitions?
Can you repeat? In my view,
Yeah. In your view, what societal factors contribute to the struggles individuals face during major life transitions?
I think that exactly that I mentioned that it's something that people don't talk about. We're talking about maybe with our closest people, parents, brothers, sisters, but it's really we still believe in a world which is really um, closed about all these personal problems. And I am obviously in this space of psychology and space of trauma healing people who need it the most. But that's the thing, people don't talk that, oh, to go to therapy, it's something like, whoa, it's only for crazy people, right? Even though we are all conditioned, we are conditioned by our politics, by our families, by our school, by our religion, by everything that's happening in the world, by global changes that are happening, right? We are living in certain ways of fear, right? There is why there are problems mentally. Why? Because people are scared, they're afraid, and they're afraid to speak that they have their fears. But it's a not natural human thing to have fears, because humans are wired for survival. We from the caveman, people were wired to, that's why we are filtering for what will kill us, right? And eventually we are having this like survival mechanism, defensive mechanism, fear-based control systems. So people are pretty much, that's why they have that's another thing, media, politics, everything is controlling to keep us in fear. And that's why people are like, all these things around the world happen, the suicide happen, and not understanding happen, because people don't talk about it, but we still get all those influences of fear-based systems that are controlling us is fear. And I think this is that's why all these wars, that's why there's constant propaganda, that's why always like fighting, in these things affect mental health and life transition, because everybody is going through life transition, everybody is losing. There are so many things. You have your podcast about jobs. People will lose their jobs. There will be competition in the world to find a job. People are like, and they are living in a survival mode. We have to have money to provide for our family, right? So we are all living in this kind of fear. At the same time, we cannot talk about this because it's not normal. Everybody is like in their head, and your body keeps the score. If you're living in fear all the time, your body becomes having sickness, not only mental problems, but also physical problems. And I think this kind of like way that people don't talk about problems too much or have a taboo around those things, it does really affect people, that they have a very turbulent time navigating life transition, especially in difficult times. That's why when I was going through very, very dark times, I actually stepped up and started speaking about it vocally and openly, and it made me heal. And then there were so many people who resonated. They were like, whoa, we also going through the same thing. Can you help us? Can you talk with us? Because people really need people who can they relate to, you know?
Exactly, Roxy. And the main problem that we don't often talk about it. We have problems, but we don't share with the right people who can actually heal it and who can help us to come out from this situation. So it is amazing, and I would say people will have to contact such people who are actually working on to heal those problems, or otherwise we will die with those problems, or maybe those problems will occur our death, unfortunately.
Yes.
So, what misconceptions about trauma and healing do you frequently encounter, and how do you address them?
Well, a lot of people think that healing, like they're just broken. I've met so many people, they're like, oh, this is just my family. I've always been like this. I've always been a depressive person, or I am just doomed. I am failed. And I think that I work with neuroscience and neuroplasticity, right? So it's all about rewiring the brain. The thing is that when a person comes and says, so your neurons in your brain, they wire. If you put the same thought again and again and again, you will reinforce the thought again and again and again. So what you need to do, because our brain is made to be really plastic, neuroplasticity, right? So you need to really identify what are these limiting beliefs. For example, I cannot do it. I will fail. I will not go for it. I'm depressive. This, or the people sometimes, oh, it's the economy, or it's a president, or it's this, that. The thing is that you first have to take control from within to really say, I am in control. The very first thing to change is I am in control. It's not this, right? It's you are responsible for your life. If you take charge of your life, then you can change your situation. If you say it's something else, you can. And second, really try to be super aware of how you are running your day. Do you think, oh, I am capable, or I can do it, or I can be healed? Or you say, no, I'm just like this. I cannot heal. I cannot do it. I will always be poor. I will be always broken. I will always be this. Then of course you will, because you will pretty much attract whatever you are projecting. But if you are taking control of your life, saying, nobody's coming to save me. I'm responsible for saving me. Second, being super aware how you are going around the things that are stacking you in trauma. And then start working and rewiring to more empowering beliefs about this and creating structures during your day to reinforce that. Then the change is possible. But a lot of people, they're like, I have experienced this trauma, right? I have experienced this war situation, or this, or some people come with trauma because they have a long-term chronic depression. and they are living in that state. They are don't know identity outside of that depressive identity, right? So what I do as a neuroscience coach, I work with them to try to identify what are these limiting beliefs. And it's I'm not saying I'm replacing therapy. If it's a medical thing, they have to do it in conjunction, to do it together. I'm more empowering them to really take charge of their life and try to rewire their brain with together with the medical thing that they're doing with their therapy. But really try to identify what's stopping you, because I do believe if you say this is just how it is, it's just me, it's just depression, it's just my trauma, I will never get out of it, then you will not. But if you will reframe that and start working towards really a new, brighter, more healthy and happy and rich and abundant life, then you will, because you will. But if everything starts with you.
Exactly. Everything starts with your own self, with your with by yourself, and nobody is responsible for yourself. We have just our parents who can care ourselves, who can think of about ourselves. But when unfortunately they goes from this world, so there's no one actually sincere about you. So we even are not even taking care of ourselves. We don't think even about ourselves. So this is great that you talked about this, and you are still spreading this uh, this point that we have to take our own responsibility. You know. So can you share a pivotal moment when you realized that your pain could be transformed into empowerment?
Well, as I shared it with one after another things, I already started helping other people along the way. But I did have a regular job, 9 to 5 at the same time. And at the same time, it was my way of staying in my room and helping myself heal. I started helping others. And I really saw that people resonate with me, that I can connect, we can share stories. And I really found a lot of fulfillment in that. But then the suicide of my sister happened, and I was like, not again, not another thing, because it just shattered me completely. Because, I could really go through a separation, through divorce, through, living as a refugee in a new country and finding a new job or a new friend group, or even like being okay with, being alone in a foreign country. But losing someone so dear to, and especially younger sister, we're not supposed to die before the young ones. And it just was for me the point when I said, that's it, like if it keeps happening, like, well, personally, I couldn't also really work anymore because I was mentally like on the edge of myself, like collapsing. But because I had already built a certain point of resilience toolkit that was helping me, meditation and neuroscience and awareness and certain kind of and neuro linguistic programming techniques, that it's a brain exercises that you do. I already had that kind of tool, and those things that helped me then, I deepened much more into trauma psychology and and things when like mental health, certain triggers. And when my sister died, I got even deeper. I got into deeper, and I said, "That's it. I just wanna." I guess if it happened, that it's just another calling. That's another sign that I have to be the light for other people. I have to help others. Because now I am actually honored to say I'm helping people around the world. I'm speaking on different stages, helping people to help they turn their pain into purpose and give them the voice, give them the idea that transformation is possible. And I had to go through it, and I think that I do have a certain resilience and capacity to endure a lot of difficult things. Not everybody can. And I think that I was, in a way, a chosen one to go through all this thing to now be the light for other people.
Exactly, Roxy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was exactly, Roxy. That's what it is. And maybe that she was your younger sister, right? Who committed suicide.
Yes.
Maybe it opens a point that death is not confirmed for anyone. Like in a certain way that we think that first when we will be 60 or 70, 80, then we're gonna die, or first our elder siblings will die, then it will be turn of our, you know, that we're gonna die. So maybe it opens up this point to think about death. When we think about death, we don't do bad things in our life, and we really uh, come into a come into a track. So what do you think?
Absolutely. You have no idea how I wish I could talk with her right now. And we always have this idea that, I will die first and she will die after. So I won't see her death, but I think that's a very important point that death of a loved one, of a family member, or siblings, or parents, it can happen at any time, right? And it can happen as much as you said, it's a horrible thing for a parent to bury a child, or the older people to younger ones. But it wakes up you to really appreciate little things, to not take things for granted, to focus on things that matter, on empathy and kindness and compassion. What can you bring to the world? What can you bring to your loved ones? How can you be more understanding and not judgmental to other people? Because time
Exactly.
is guaranteed. We may think that there is some linear progression, but it's not like that. And that's why it's a wake up call for everybody to really tell your loved ones you love them, spend time with them, be kind, be nice, be not only to your loved ones, not only to your parents or siblings or friends, but to everyone, because everybody is going through something, and it's just our purpose as a humanity to be kind and understanding and compassionate, because
Exactly,
eventually,
Roxy.
yes.
Exactly, Roxy. And we don't know when we are gonna die, and for which time our death has been written. So we just have to pray to our Creator that we will die safely, in order to say, like in a good way, you know. And at that time, we will not be doing some bad things, you know. Your sister got died. She was in her 20s. So God will, really love her. And at this age, we are not very mature. So we have to think about ourselves. We have to think about that if we will die, so what are the legacy we are leaving behind. So it was all about for today's conversation. Time is running out. Thank you so much, Roxy Hops, for giving me
Absolutely.
the precious and valuable time for the conversation. And I'm sorry if the questions I asked related to your sister uh, got you emotional or something like that.
No. My vulnerability is my strength, because eventually through my story, I hope maybe your readers will hear, something. And I just want to maybe for you to share my email with them if anybody would want to reach out to me, if they are silently struggling and want somebody to talk to, from your audience. And you can share later my email or my social media. So just want to encourage all the young souls, never give up. Always know that you have all the resources within yourself to overcome any challenge. Just really have faith, have believe in your ability, and this light in the end of the tunnel, no matter how that happens. And just know that it's possible to rise back from whatever circumstance. And I wish everybody a lot of healing, a lot of love and happiness in the world, and lots of success on this journey.
Exactly. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for today's conversation. And yeah, thank you so much. Take care of yourself. Goodbye.